Yo, here we go. Episode 105. Happy New Year. Let's have some fun on a Monday. Yeah. Come on in. Happy New Year. Yeah, what's up, people? Let's have fun. Oh, here, let me start this up. What the heck? There we go. A skip in the vinyl. What's up? William, that is art by Amanda. One of our friends in here. Yeah. Hey, Happy New Year. 2022. Wow. The room I'm in right now is roasting. I had my heaters blasting because it got cold out. What's up? I got my favorite people in the world in here. What's up? There's a new guy in here. Where is he? His name's, what, Josh? Is that his name? Where are we? Josh, welcome. Josh came to this show via another show called Killed by Desk. It is a podcast about punk rock musicians, and I was a guest. Check it out, Killed by Desk, and Adam Cardone is my episode, but there's a ton of great episodes. Welcome, you're going to have a good time here. Come on in, folks. I wanted to show you just a few hours ago when the sun went down tonight. I was at home on my phone, and a friend of mine who lives very close, Sherman, who's comes in here sometimes. I don't know if you're watching, Mr. Rick Sherman. He said, "Oh my God, go out and look at the sky." And so I went into my kitchen and I immediately saw the pink glow, and I ran out up the street, and folks, this is what I got to party under for a solid 30 minutes. Hi, Mama. My mother's in the house. So my mom also got to see this. She lives out here, and she got to see this stunning, I call it fireworks. This is what I call real fireworks. I mean, it was so bright. There's no filter on this at all, and I'm telling you, it's even crazier. Really, I mean, when I see things like this, it never gets boring. So, yeah, it's freezing out. So take the time, go out and smell the flowers. Let me turn this down. I actually have, I think, a meaty show tonight. I have a lot to say. I wanted to talk about this show. It's 2022. I've been doing this show now just a little longer than a year and a half. And this month, I don't know if he's watching. He might be actually watching right now. And if he is, hi. I can't wait to do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna interview. I guess I'll announce it here. You guys are the regulars. And then I'll announce it online, and I'm going to promote the heck out of it. I am going to interview one of my childhood heroes live on this show. I would say everybody here knows who it is. You won't know his real name, but you'll know the character he played on television. His name is Philip Paley, or Phil Paley, and he played Chaka on the original Land of the Lost. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a little kid, that was like, to me, the coolest thing in the world was not only that show, but Chaka. Every little boy wanted to have a friend, a play friend. And my God, a little monkey boy that lived in the jungle that would come out and play with you whenever you wanted. It was like a childhood dream come true. And so over the last few years, I got to meet him And then online we became friends, and I'm going to interview him here. I can't wait. It's going to be July 31st right now. That's the proposed date. Yeah, that is not a star. That was a jet landing in that picture. I'm almost, yeah. You know, we live near an airport, so occasionally you'll see a line of those dots, and it's the jets coming in. Yeah, very cool. The other interviews I'm going to do is I'm going to interview more performers. I've been told people like it when I bring in performers and we talk shop, especially the type of performers I work with, which are variety artists and musician types. So I'm going to be interviewing a lot more performers, and I'm going to start interviewing some of my burlesque friends. I haven't had a burlesquer on the show, and I'm going to bring on a boy and a girl, a male burlesque performer and a few performers. Burlesque is, I think, a misunderstood thing. And oh yeah, the movie. I'd never seen the movie. And so, yeah, I'm going to bring them in and we're going to talk shop. So I can't wait. Maybe they'll give some, insight on how they come up with their routines. Oh, Dan, I was going to say, I'm glad you discovered the joy of reading philosophy books. I mean, when you tell people you're into reading philosophy books, they're just like, unless they know what it is, they really give you a funny look. It sounds boring as hell. It's actually, it's so not boring. My God. Everybody remembers Chaka, and he was a great actor when he did it. I believe he was only 10. I'm going to try to ask some out-of-the-box questions. I'm sure he's answered a million. And I want to ask him a lot about the producers of the show, Sid and Marty Krofft. He got to work with these guys. I mean, they're both still alive, too. Oh, I'd love to interview one of those guys. They shaped... To me, Sid and Marty Krofft are the Ramones of television. I'm going to write that down. And there's a reason why. I mean, it seems like an insignificant little thing, but the tree in which it grew, everything grew from, and was influenced by such, trumps everything. I will say it to this day. The Ramones influenced more musicians than the Beatles. Way more. Wow. Yeah, the Trocadero was a burlesque house. What did I just say? Oh, yeah. Sid and Marty Krofft. Wow. Okay. All right, so, what else? Oh, I'm also going to interview my mama, who's in here right now watching. So my mother just recently moved near me. I haven't lived near her for 30-some years, and she lives down the street. So I'm going to do a live interview here with my mama, and we're going to ask her some cool stuff. She's had the coolest job in the world. And I don't want to spoil it, because she got to do something really kind of unique. And she came from a theater background, but then medical and theater. I don't want to spoil it, but she got to be kind of a rock star in what she did, and I can't wait to share with you what she did for a living and what she loves to do for fun. I mean, she's my mom, as you can guess. She's wild and awesome. So, Mama, if you're watching, can't wait. She is settled in. You can ask her. She's watching now. I think she hit the jackpot. She got to see that sunset today. What else? Oh, yeah, you guys all saw before we get to the subject, if you're new, there's a subject coming and it gets serious. Not that serious. The UFO, the NASA hiring theologians to get people ready for understanding alien life. Check it out. Not much online about it, but there's a few articles. Also, I might do a Bigfoot episode on my Behind the Devil's Curtain eventually, only because there are some new videos of the Patterson-Gimli footage. And that is what we call Patty. Patty is the Bigfoot on the film that, to this day, puzzles people. There's a magician running around saying he made the suit. It's not real. There's also a video I just saw where you can watch this thing walk, and you can see every muscle in this thing's body move because of the little bit of an enhanced video when it walks. You can see the ripple up the leg. And then go back to that same time period in the mid-60s and try to find a movie with a gorilla suit that looks that good. Or anything that good. Even the Star Wars costume doesn't look as good as that. So it's either a Bigfoot, a really weird human that lives in the woods that looks like some sort of creature, or they faked it and did better than any film company or makeup artist could ever do. If you watch the footage of Bigfoot, look up Bigfoot Patterson footage, and then look up enhanced or cleaned up, and notice it has breasts and a butt crack. Check it out. If it's a suit, it's so good. And I think I want to do a show where I break it down a bit. So, I believe personally Bigfoot is a projection of our imagination to nature and where we came from. Mixed with bears that can walk on two legs. Because I don't know if you've ever seen a bear on two legs. They look like people. I mean, really. They look like a costume, actually. What else? Oh, yeah. And, also, I think I mentioned, one of my closest friends and colleagues who I interviewed here is now the president artistic director. He's the artistic director of Coney Island, USA, which is, in essence, the boss of the Coney Island Building Sideshow Museum Extravaganza and the Mermaid Parade. There is a controversy about it. The old boss has beef now. He was fired. I know some of the details. I don't know all of them. I am loyal to and believe that my buddy, Adam Rinn, Adam Reelman is his show name, is the rightful guy for the job. And I'm going to support him all the way. So, and I said it last time I was here, but cheers, Adam. Congrats. So, if you want to look it up, you'll see some news articles. Most of the news articles are siding with the old boss. That's where they lean it towards, which I find interesting. Probably because it's better for the drama. It's an easier news story to sell. Not sure. Yeah. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. You know, I'd love to do the Letterman and crumble all my notes, but I actually save them all. And I look at them. Before I go, I'm almost finished with reading this book. So if you're into philosophy, this is a fun one. Not an easy one. Gorgias by Plato. And it's basically about Socrates. Anywho, I'm almost done. I've been not only reading this very carefully and slow and taking notes, I've watched about 8 lectures that are all about an hour long on just this book. And I think I got it. I'm not done with it. I'm almost done. I love it. It's been fun. As philosophy goes, I'm already, like, personally, what I've learned from it that I can apply to my life is interesting because it's not 100% there. Partly because it's been ruined by Nietzsche. So, oh, you don't know about the Bigfoot stuff? Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I actually don't really think there's a race of subhumans running around the forest. There might have been at some points in our world, and they died off, but we still see them, you know? It might be something like that. Yes, there you go. Amanda knows Adam also very well because she is part of the Coney Island scene. And, yeah, she said he is very talented. He's a great boss, leader, showman, and talker. He's got the whole... Okay, I got stuff to say. Let's get into the subject. I wasn't sure... You know, sometimes I don't know what these are going to be until I wake up in the morning. Sometimes I know what they're going to be a week before. Sometimes I know what they're going to be the night before. This was a night before. This was last night. I started formulating what this was going to be. And it's also the new year. This is the first episode of 2022. And let me know if I'm sounding loud enough. It's hard to tell what you sound like on these things. And so, I decided what this is going to be. Yes, I agree. Yeah. The government's not on TV talking about Bigfoot. Or at least, yeah. So I wanted to do a show on resolutions, New Year's resolutions, what it is, what it means, what people do, how they do them, and a little bit about New Year's in general. And also, I want to talk about the brain pollution thing, because to me, that's part of the resolutions. So on New Year's Eve, I spent New Year's Eve on the beach. And if you follow my Instagram, which I recommend anybody here checks it out, because it kind of supplements this channel. It's 5. All right, cool. Thank you, William. What was I saying? I'm talking about New Year's Eve on the beach. And we partied on the beach. We built a really big fire. And people started kind of coming down, and it was all the locals. And then finally, a lot of people showed up. And then my friend Rob, who was here and played music on one of the episodes, and I'm going to have him back too. He shows up. You see him walking down the beach with a few people. They made a really great human effigy, a person. And the goal was to put it out, build the bonfire around him, this effigy of a person. And then people can put notes of things they want to let go of for the end of the year in its pockets, so we cook it. We were going to make a big ritual out of it. And I didn't write a letter, but I had a marker, and people were writing on its sleeves. And so we built this beautiful fire, set the thing on fire, and on the beach. Yeah, bonfire on the beach. And so we lit it up, and it was beautiful. And then the fire department showed up and told us to put the fire out, which they don't do too often. There was a few fires on the beach, so we put ours out, and they felt bad doing it. They really did. Somebody called, one of the dumb idiots that lives in the building, and then, which is why I like 4th of July. They can't stop 4th of July. 4th of July is an insane asylum where I live. I highly recommend, if you want a vacation on the 4th, just come party at Rockaway Beach. If you hate fireworks being set off illegally, you'll lose your mind, because people set off an insane amount. And I'm going to tell you about this. So we do the New Year's Eve. We put the fire out. The firemen kind of basically apologize for having us do that. They leave. We see them to tell the other people to put the fire out. We wait 10 minutes and then build another fire. And we went all, pretty late. I didn't stay out too late. But at midnight, we got to see local fireworks that rival most cities. And when I say local, I mean these are just like guys down the beach that live on the beach, uptown a bit. And I know for a fact some people spend between $10,000 and $30,000 on some of the fireworks they set off in one sequence. I know that for a fact. I'm not kidding. It's real. And so we got to see that. Oh yeah, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. I always forget to mention that. So our New Year's Eve was that. I went to bed early because I always get up. It's my favorite thing to do. I do the polar bear. Well, this year the polar bear was almost 60 degrees. So to me, it's cheating. And I didn't feel that special because we've been jumping in my swimming pool all year now for cold plunges, and that's even colder. So I just did it as a ritual. To me, to start the year by doing a mind over matter stunt is the greatest symbol to yourself of how the year is going to go. Something very uncomfortable, you're making it comfortable and fun, and I don't know. It's my favorite thing. So I did that, and then we came back here and partied in the hot tub all day. That was my New Year's Day. And New Year's Day, I finally sat down at the end of the day, and I started working on my year plan, which I do very seriously. I like taking New Year's seriously. And I wrote down what I want to, I always write down what I did well, what I want to do better, what direction I want to take it, if there's something I need to close, work on closing it. And I wrote them down. We're gonna talk about them. I want to hear what you guys do. But the thing that made me want to do this episode is very interesting, and maybe that the person that I'm gonna mention is watching or will watch this. I forget their name, but they're a local surfer. And I was on the beach on Sunday, yesterday, also around a fire. We do a lot of fires here on the beach and in my backyard, and it's a thing here in this neighborhood. It's funny because I just saw New York City is going to ban the burning of wood in the next few years. And I've got two things to say to that. One, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not here. I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know how they're going to enforce it. It's insane. It's totally lame. They say it's pollutant. They're going to stop little neighborhood campfires because it's a pollutant. I find it funny. To me, it's like the banning of straws. Yeah, great, but it's like pencil shavings of nonsense. So I met a guy on the beach, and I was around the fire, and when you're around the fire, it's like the old days where it's the tribe, and people start to trade ideas. There's a little eggshelly with politics. People don't say much, and it's because where I live, we have a lot of different things. I hang out with people that lean left, right, middle, up, down, all over. And so, I really think that people try to stick to subjects that are pretty open and, yeah, exactly. We should burn corrupt. I'm all for that. And so I heard this guy mention to somebody else, what were your regrets? Have you worked on your regrets? And she started talking about, yes, and how about your regrets? And I'm like, what are they talking about? My ears are boink, and my philosophy brain's like, ooh. Because, dude, when I find people that I can tap dance with, and I call it a dance. It's like dancing. It's fun. It excites me. It's my favorite thing in the world. If I can find a new person I've never met that has something that we can dance with on a philosophical idea, that's literally my favorite thing in the world these days. I'm not kidding. It really is. And it's funny because as I'm reading the Plato book about Socrates, that's what he liked to do too. He would just kind of walk around town and stop and have conversations with people. I understand now why. It's literally some of the most mind-blowing stuff. And so this guy, I'm like, yo, what's with this regrets thing? And he goes, oh, I'm working on this project called 40 Regrets. And I didn't get the details. But it was something where they list their regrets, things they regretted they've done. My curiosity, if you know me and you know what this show's about, you'll know why I'm excited. So I'm hearing this guy and I'm like, okay, I want to know what he means by regrets. I want to know how he defines this little thing. So I said to him, and I started doing this, and I recommend everybody does this. If you ever want to talk to somebody about a philosophical notion or debate any subject matter for that, I always ask them first. I go, hey, I don't know what this is. Do you mind if I ask some questions about this? Because it's fascinating, right? And he was like, oh, yeah. And I go, oh, what do you mean by regret? And he literally went like, And if I remember correctly, I immediately said, not immediately, I let him answer, but he didn't really answer. I said, do you mean something you've done that you didn't like that you did, and you wish you made a different decision? And he was like, yes. Huh. Wow. Okay. So now my brain is just like, right? I'm thinking like, why would you ask somebody what they regret? To me, the word regret is crazy to use in this thing. So I said to him, okay, so you're implying by doing this, it's like a self-help thing, right? He's like, yeah. Like at the end of the year, you're listing your resolutions, and also your things you wish you've done better. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that's a weird way to reflect. Like, hey, what did you regret you did last year? So, all right. So now I have an idea of maybe why he's doing this. Because to me, it's very odd to go about it that way. So I said to him, hey, I think we have a similar thing we both do. A little different on certain edges. Yeah. Holy crap, Lilith Malone. Yeah, what if you have a fireplace? Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. Well, they're going to ban natural gas in 4 years. That's a fact. Now, if you have them in your homes, I think you're okay for now until they regulate it and make you start paying to get it inspected. But your stove and stuff, they're going to regulate. They're going to no new gas stoves, which is terrible for cooking. So I said to the guy, I also reflect on my past. I don't use the word regret. I look at what I did wrong, or what I perceive to be wrong, or where I could have done better. I look at the problems it caused, and then the most important part I look at is how it got to that. So I did something bad. Now I have a scar. I see the scar. Oh, I remember that. Okay, you can just move on from there, or you can go, how did it get to that decision? So I said this to the guy, and he goes, oh, okay. I could tell. I can tell. I mean, I'm good at body. I could tell it didn't sit with him. He didn't. And now I see him getting a little like, because he doesn't know what I'm talking about. At least I don't think so. Maybe he did. I don't know. And then I kind of realized something. I go, oh, can I ask you another question? He goes, yeah. Do you believe in free will? Like you literally in any waking moment have a myriad of choices and you pretty much can make any choice. And so if you went back to that bad decision that you made, you might have made a different choice. And he went, absolutely. And I went, there's the difference between you and me. And he again, I could see that was it. The conversation was over. He was not going to go into that talk. And it's fine. But it really woke me up. I was like, wow, what a weird way to look at your year. Why would you want to focus on the regrets and not how you did the bad thing and where you're going to grow it from, and so you don't repeat it? You can. So I was thinking, okay, first of all, what's this say? Oh, wow, I wrote some neat stuff here. I wrote down here some crazy stuff I'm going to talk about. What if their version of regrets, I looked at it like a version, almost like it's a very pacifist way. I don't know. I'm trying to process why. Yeah, why would you? Well, there it is. Superficial. To me, it was very superficial. It was almost like this. Okay, I came up with this little notion of dying in 2 years, and I call it my 2-year Maury filter. And it's just for me. And if anybody wants to try it, I don't give a shit. Go ahead and try it. Pretend like you're going to die in 2 years. It's easy. There's nothing to do. But imagine I gave it a logo and started marketing it. To me, this guy's little regrets thing, I don't know what it was exactly. I'm so curious. But it had a weird kind of like, it didn't seem like he thought about it much. At least how I think of stuff. I mean, I'm a freak on word definitions. You know, I want to know how you're defining that and why you chose that word and not another word. And so the conversation ended. Cool. It's fine. He was leaving, I think. And so then this other girl who was there, we just started talking. And, you know, when there's somebody new, they ask you what you do for a living. And whenever I say I do magic shows for a living, I kind of have to explain. I'm going to go into a little bit of a Q&A. It's just how it is. I'm sure there's other jobs that have the same thing. And so I'm like, you know, I do magic shows, blah, 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 blah. And she looks at me and she goes, what do you know about ritual magic? And I was like, okay, well, actually, that's something else I like to talk about, and it's a big part of my life. And I was like, most magicians won't talk about it on this level. And I gave her my quick spiel is the shaman archetype, the real shaman of the village, they invented magic tricks and real magic, and there's a reason. And I gave her a little spiel on my little thing, and she was like, oh, wow, cool. And, we started talking, and she said, oh, we got a spammer in here. I love it. Who writes in weird code. I wonder if those are robots. Look in the chat. Vor NGO, like, I don't know what that is. What is that? Anywho, the girl brings up, she goes, well, she goes, well, I believe in energy and blah, blah. And she starts talking about energy. Again, anytime someone mentions energy, first thing I say is, can I ask you a quick question? She's like, yeah. I go, what do you mean by energy? And she looked at me like I'm a kook. Because in her world, everybody talks about energy. They do. They talk about energy and energy and energy. And I said to my buddy earlier that day, we were talking about the word vibe. And now I use the word vibe a lot because it's not a heavy word. And if I say that person gave me a good vibe, it doesn't necessarily mean some supernatural energy. It means my intuition. We all know what vibe is. That guy gives me a bad vibe. It means my intuition thinks something's off. Maybe it's his appearance, his smell, whatever. So she looks at me like, what do you mean? And I go, no, I just want to know how you define energy because a lot of people have different versions of it. And she was like, oh, she goes, well, I believe there are these channels and it moves through. And I was like, okay, got it. As soon as she said that, I knew exactly where she was coming from. And I didn't ask her any more questions. And she didn't ask me any more. You're not seeing the spam. So if you look up above Fallon's thing that says exclamation point risk 1, right above it, there's a name. It looks like it's in Cyrillic Russian or something. I can't tell. Vor NGO. It's like a weird, Oh, maybe. It's possible. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Oh, you can see it too. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Hail Xenu. There's a Xenu. I did a show on that, Bill. You should check it out. I did a Scientology episode. That was my hobby for a while, researching Scientology. I really got into it for a while. It's so freaky and fascinating. It's kind of awesome. So, I after they left, I had a chat with some other friends that were there. And we were just talking about word definitions and how the words energy, spirit, spirituality, God, these are words I don't use in my vocabulary very often. If you hear me use it, it's super rare. And if they come out, it's just from habits. But I try not to use them. I don't like them. They're too broad of terms that people use. If you try the experiment of never using the word spirit or God, you'll see. It makes you think about how to describe stuff a little better. Oh, you have the kitty filter on. Huh. I don't know what that stuff is. So, speed of light clock. Oh, yeah. So I like word definitions because, I mean, look, we can all look at a tree and go, it's got 4 branches and agree on it. Cool. We can say that we see the color blue, but you might see it differently than I do, but we're calling it blue. But if I say God, and you go like that, and you visualize your concept, everybody's is very different, and some are more anthropomorphic, like human-like. They've been made into deities. Some people say, oh, God's energy. And I'm like, wow, that's very different than a man floating in the sky. I've heard people say God is everything. I'm like, okay, that All right, God is everything. Great. Now what? Did everything create everything? I don't know. You see, so I don't like these words because people throw them around and expect you to meet on the same ground. And I just choose not to use those words for that reason. And whenever someone does use them, I try to politely ask them what their concept of it is, just quickly, so I can kind of get in their head. Because they're going to try to convey something, and I want to understand it. I might disagree with it. Doesn't matter. I want to know what it is. I think it's our duty to do that. I can also apply the same thing for political reasons. And I say this all the time. This is why I get very angry and it's one of my resolutions, and I don't like binary brain. I mean, if you vote for this person, you're this type. If you vote for this person, you're that type. There's only two choices, and you have to choose A or B. And as soon as you pick either one for any reason, you are that type. Now, I don't participate in two-party elections, but in the last election, I know people that voted for both sides for reasons that you wouldn't believe. And some of the reasons I would agree with, even the bad guys. There's a couple little things that on a philosophical level make sense. So they use that as the reason to vote. Same on the left side. They used a philosophical notion of a value as their, well, he's for this specific thing that matches my value. My microphone. I gotta vote for that guy. And people assume why you voted for somebody or why you chose something. I've had people assume, they're like, you're just a contrarian. I had one of my friends told me, you're a contrarian. Okay, but when you call me a contrarian, I want to know why you think I am, because I don't think of myself as a contrarian. I think of myself as, I just ask a bunch of questions and I poke holes in things to make sure it's going to hold water, right? And so if I go against something, I would never go against something just to go against it. That's crazy. To me, that's what, when I think of a contrarian, that's what I think of. They're just going against it to rile everybody or to make a point. But I don't go against anything just to make a point, or for something. Ooh, keep bumping the mic because I'm such an Italian with my fingers. Flailing my hands. I can't forget this speed of light thing. I'm going to keep this out. I want to end with this. So here are my New Year's resolutions, always, every year. Drink more water. I had a lot of soda over the holidays. I don't drink alcohol. I drink a lot of non-alcoholic beer. Who would win in a fight between Lemmy and God? Trick question. Lemmy is God. Yeah, Lemmy really is a legend. He's like the god of a certain type of a musician. He's the real thing. Yeah, oh my God, Dan, I was raised to vote a certain way. It's insane. Insane. Most people are ignorant on purpose, but I don't think it's their choice. I think it's a survival technique. I think ignorance is a real survival technique and got us to survive. Think about that. Us being ignorant might have made us live longer in the old days. And I mean caveman days. More exercise, I put. I'm pretty active. I could always do more. My cardio is so I'm going to try to do that. This year I played my bass guitar way more than I have in a while, and I got better. I've been playing the bass guitar since like 10th, 11th grade. So how many years is that? I don't know. I always play, but I've been playing a lot. And my finger work got better, my songwriting got better, my playing live got better. I mean, we got to play 3 really fun live shows this year, just recently. And I mean, it was an honor to be included in these things, And so I want to play more bass. We might be there's been rumors of us doing a show on the West Coast. We'll see. My writing. It's new for me to write as much as I am. Obviously, I'm going to write. My New Year's resolution is to finish one of my projects. Not publish it, finish it. Publishing will be the next phase. Finish my satanic playing cards. They are right on the edge. I'm actually tomorrow going to figure out how to get more of the money wired over. It's such a headache. I had one of my Kickstarters send me a rude message like, I can't believe they're this late. They're only a month and a half late. You had plenty of time to do this. That's literally what they wrote me. So if you're watching, I'll give you your money back and you can stick it up your ass. You clearly have never made a product, especially during a pandemic and dealing with China. So, yeah. Creatively, the project's done. Technically, it's done. All the technical things are done. Now there's some other stuff involved. It's going to happen. I saw one of the proofs that they just sent. The technical stuff, I am like, I don't know nothing about it. When they explain it to me, I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So I'm going to finish those. We're trying to get it done, like literally right now, like wired, paid, and the next month get them out. Or at least we got them and then we can ship them. I want to get them done because we have something else in the works. And this one's going to be different. It's going to be done before we start the Kickstarter, which changes the dynamic. This is what most Kickstarter people do now. They like finish it before. So it's hard to do. Anywho, must have been their first Kickstarter. I've done like 30 Kickstarters, and I think only 2 or 3 of them were on time. I'm not kidding. I was like, wow, okay. I wish I would have wrote that in the original stuff, but whatever. The YouTube show, I'm going to develop this more, and I'm going to do more interviews. Bullwhips. I got really good at my bullwhips last year. I was good years ago, and I did it in my show. I wanted to be better, and so this year I put a lot of work into it. I haven't put it back in my show yet. I'm not satisfied. I want to be frickin' good. Frickin' good. I mean, I'm able to now slice a playing card consistently once, twice, but not 3 times. I want to be able to do 3. This is a big one. This is a hard one. Oh, look, another weird spam from Caroline Harper. Caroline, if you're a human watching, what does that mean? V-A-R-K tech. I don't know. This is a big one. It's hard to explain. New ways to approach magic online. And what I mean by that is this. I don't like magic online. I actually don't like doing magic tricks here for you. I'm sorry. Do I do magic online? Yeah. I did a lot of shows last year. It wasn't easy. It's missing a lot of elements. So when I think about doing a magic trick online, I think about interactive tricks like, hey, think of a card. And then, or visual. Things are appearing and disappearing. I don't like the idea of seeing magic on TV because you don't know what's edited, or like, for instance, if I make something disappear, if I have a coin and I disappear, right? If I go below camera, I can ditch it, right? So, not to reveal how 99% of online magic works, but you have a frame in which to work with. It's way easy. My problem with magic online is this. You've all seen Chris Angel, right? Here's what I think about that show. And so the reason why is this. I have acts that I do in my show that are 5 minutes long, some that are 10 minutes long, but some of those 5-minute acts took years to develop. And I'm not exaggerating, years to make them decent enough for a paying audience to see. And when I say decent, I mean it's got a beginning, a middle, an end. It's got something to catch your eye. They're scientifically designed to be in a professional setting to get the maximum impact out of the audience, right? When you're doing a weekly magic show that you have to come up with new tricks every week, please, it's going to be garbage, absolute garbage. And you're going to have to use camera tricks to pull off everything. Sometimes when I learn a trick, it's not that I come up with it and I learn it, and I already know how to palm coins, but I might have to learn how to palm coins in a new way to accomplish the new trick I'm doing, and that might take months and months and months and months. So that's why when you watch Chris Angel, whenever he gets to the hard part of the trick, they edit it out. They won't show you the sleight of hand part. They'll cut to the audience reaction when he's doing the sneaky move. To me, that's not what a magician is. The idea is to do it live. And yeah, you can fool the guy that's being paid to watch you and then edit it for the real audience. Literally, it's Britney Spears singing. You know, they edit her voice so it sounds good on tape. So I don't like online magic, but I'm going to do a lot of work on trying to figure out new ways to do magic in a format that's a little bit more conducive to what I feel is good. Yeah. What about floating table? Because floating table is a trick that I actually like, but it's done poorly in most people's hands. And I mean poorly. It's become a new classic. I personally think most versions of it are garbage. But yeah. Well, you can see the weird edits because you're sharp, but a lot of people don't see the edits. Or the fake audience. And I mean fake audience. When you see them walking up to strangers on the street on 99% of these shows, they're fake. They're plants. They're their friends. They filmed. Yeah. I've been there when they're taping some of these shows. It's unbearable. For me, it's more about the shape of the material and what you're doing. You know, anybody can walk around and go, think of a card, 4 of hearts. Think of a card, 4 of hearts. And eventually get a few right and edit it. So, I digress. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on my view of what magic exists online. The other one is taking, more reading, increase my reading. Keep on my no TV trip. Totally cool. I was really trying to figure out how many movies I watched this year. I think it was about 12. Yeah, around 12. No TV, and being mindful of, if I'm a little bored, not to hang out with vapid people. I've done more isolation. I got some stories about him. I've isolated myself this year purposefully a lot, and for a purpose. For a learning purpose, for a disciplinary purpose. And it created some stuff that I never would have created if I didn't do that. So occasionally I want to hang out with people. And I mean, there are some vapidity types that in the old days I might have spent time with. I'm always very trying to pay attention to who that is and why. And only hang out with people that are stimulating to a conversation. And something I can learn from them, you know, like something. Texas Chainsaw 2 is definitely, I just watched it the other day for the 100th time, and it don't get bad. Now, let's talk about brain pollution here to end the show. Because to me, this is also part of the process. And the vapid people is part of the brain pollution. I'm going to do my cross-leg thing now. Oh, this feels good. Brain pollution. What I mean by brain pollution are things that are around our data processor, visual, audio, food, whatever, touch, things that our data processors can pick up and read. The things that are there that clog up productivity. And TV is, I mean, obviously, I don't have to. Oh, yeah, well, there you go. Vapidity is less stress to a certain degree. But also, sometimes vapidity, as let's say a personality defect, where they're just flat. They don't have any likes, dislikes. They just kind of float around. They like, their values are somebody else's. That's usually what it is. They don't have real values that they've cultivated on their own. I don't have time. I can't deal with it. For me, the biggest brain pollutant right now is the device we all have in our pockets. And I use online to hustle work. So when I jump online to hustle work, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to post this, edit this, go here, do this, blah, 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 blah. And within seconds, I start scrolling and looking, right? Oh, stop. I'm more focused now on how long I will do that for, because it's not good. Most people aren't posting things. You know, when you look at someone's Instagram post and it's a girl where every single picture is the same angle of head and everyone, I now mute or delete. I can't do it. False values I wrote here for brain pollution, and that is something that I value that I didn't come to on my own terms. That was something that came from a tradition or some notion of our reality that we live in that became a norm. I'm always trying to smell those out. I've gotten rid of most of them these days, which is why I live as a weirdo. My values are very different. Here's my favorite one: unproductive gossip. uh, to me, gossip is bad, uh, unless there's a purpose for it. There are times where rightly placed gossip can eliminate people. And especially if it's truthful. If it's a lie and you're spreading lies, I mean, yeah, you can remove somebody, but then definitely that's bad. You know, you're doing it under a false thing. But if somebody did something bad to you, there's a way to use that to get them out. Yeah, exactly. But that's the way we've always done. Yeah, exactly. Those are the things I'm always trying to sniff. Um, yeah, the weirdos succeed. Junk food I put on here. I mean, I do eat junk food. Let's not get that out, but I'm going to try to focus on that more. Yeah, weeding out the vapid and the people who see the world in a very binary fashion. And when I use the word binary, I'm not talking about gender or that. I'm talking about when I say binary brained, I mean, and to me, the people that are very aware of how non-binary our, sexual preferences are, or our genders, or whatever that is, those people a lot of the times are very binary, meaning they do see the world in left, right, good guy, bad guy, good and evil. And that's the one that to me is the most important, because that was the one where everything stems from. That's why when I see people debating binary, I'm like, yeah, but if you move the camera back a little bit, this is very binary, what's going on. And so I'm constantly trying to look for those. There are not two teams, and there never were, for anything. Even though our politics is there's literally Team A and Team B, and they run the elections. Yeah, okay. Right. See, this is where vapidity causes stress. They don't realize it's that. Yeah. Binary brain, stuck in false dichotomy thinking. Clearly, that's it. I use the word binary brained a lot. It's a word that I don't know if I've coined it, but I do use it a lot. I go, that guy's binary brain, meaning when they talk to you, they're listening, they're waiting, and if you say some sort of word, they'll go, oh, he's on the left of things, or oh, he's a Trumper, he's on the right. Like, they're always looking for what team you're on, and I hate that. And I can tell that's what people do. I know they do. I can see them. I can see by the questions they ask or how they answer certain things. They're looking to see whose team you're on right away. I think I puzzle people. I hope I puzzle people, because I ain't on no one's team. No one's team. No. Especially the popular teams. I hope I'm confusing, because my values are very to most people. I have very specific things that I've hold very dear and can talk about in debate, And so I think this year I have resolutions. I always do. And as for pollutants go, it's just to be mindful of where they are. And it's not this whole notion of looking back at what you regret. That is, I'm glad I met that guy, and I'm glad I know now that there are people that look at it that way, because I have to talk to them and be around them, and they're a neighbor and they're a friend and they're a human being and they deserve to think that way, or they're allowed to think however they want. I'm just curious so that I know where I can throw my values around somebody like that, because they have very different value system, clearly. I value how we got to. If I made a mistake in the past, I really do believe that if I went back in time to any moment in my life where I made a decision, I would have made the same decision. It's hard to say that because you're like, well, with all the prior knowledge, the knowledge of now. Yeah, well, you don't have that. But if I time traveled you, wiped your brain back to that moment, we literally went back on the CD and hit play. Everything that led to that moment is there still, right? Unless you're going to change that too, which you can't. But let's just say you would make the same decision. So therefore, instead of going like, God, I wish I did a different decision, you go, no, how did I get there? What made me make that decision? What were the little details of in my life, work, relationships, financial belief systems that I signed up for that led to that decision being made? There's the examining. And there's where the Stoics would say, yo, the future doesn't mean anything. This is why the whole self-help movement to me is silly. They're like, forget your past. Focus on the present. Live in the now. Focus on the future in the now. And I actually disagree. I don't think you can focus on the now ever, because it's already gone. See, the now, right now, it's gone. Oh, there it is. It's gone again. That's not happening. But to enjoy the now and to keep on the wave of it moving, you have to make sure that past stuff's sorted out so you don't make the same mistakes. It's all you have is your past. The future ain't here yet. You can project a bit and think where it might be going, and you should. And so, to me, it is the past and the reflection and how you made those mistakes. I learned that from the Stoics. And so, on that note, I'd like to end, and it's exactly 9 o'clock. This is great. I saw someone talking about the speed of light and the theory of relativity, and they had a new model to think about that I thought was mind-blowing. Imagine right here, I have a clock that's a really bright light. And the clock, the numbers and around the edges are it's like a neon light bulb. And the numbers are neon lights. And the hands are neon lights. And let's say it's like 3 o'clock on the clock. Oh, there's a Spaceball scene there, yeah. And you're looking at the clock, and like that, the clock's beaming the light, and you're moving at light speed away from the clock looking at that light. And you have really good goggles so you can see as you're moving pew at the speed of light. Well, what would you see? You would see that it's 3 o'clock, and you wouldn't see the clock change ever if you keep moving, because you're moving at the same speed in which that clock light's moving. It's like right there. It's right near you. It's always the same. Now, the clock on Earth is moving. It's staying. It's the same. Think about that. When I realized, I was like, oh, wow, that's great. What a neat little thing to think about. I mean, honestly, we didn't evolve to think about things like that. I remember seeing Lawrence Krauss, the physicist, and he's like, we didn't evolve to understand quantum physics. It's just not there. It's not useful. It's not useful at all for survival. So therefore, it's just, it's not there. And, but if you do start wrapping your head around it, our brains have the ability to expand and be able to understand more, which is why we're humans and we build rocket ships. And iguanas and cockroaches do not. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Wow! That was a whirlwind. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say tonight. Oh, anybody out there really good at butterfly knives? When I was a kid, I was very good at this. I still think they're illegal in New York City. I forget. Um, this is a Kershaw. This is not mine. This is actually my son's. And it's probably one of the better brands you can get. It's definitely the best store-bought brand and not handmade brand. And I used to get practice flipping these things when I was a kid. And I always, I was always pretty good at it. As for a martial art, I don't think it's... I don't think it's a real martial art. I mean, obviously, if you whip this out, you can scare somebody with it. But as for knife fighting goes, if I was going to use this in a knife fight, I would have to open it and then lock it shut. And then, I don't know, it would need a rubber grip or something. It's to me, it's not a good knife fighting knife. But it is scary. And this one here is literally razor sharp. And my son pointed out that they make training knives now. And I was like, oh, they're not dull? And I'm like, oh my God, there it is. 20, 30 years from now, these are going to be illegal. I promise you. This is a prediction. Everybody's going to have a knife that's just a little piece of metal or rubber. It's like a Burning Man thing where it'll be a thing where to flip these around and do like a dance show with them. Almost martial arts turn into a dance show, in my opinion. They lose the reality and turn into a dance. A good example is the magic trick of the dancing cane. If you go to Burning Man, the hippies have the cane with a visible string and do the same thing. It turned into a flow toy. It went from a cool magic trick to a flow toy. Trust me, this is going to turn into a flow toy. I already saw millions of... When I watch people flipping them now, it looks like they're dancing. It doesn't look scary. I'm like, that's not scary. I want scary. I want things that scare people, not look like you're ready to start doing ballet. So I'm curious if anybody knows about people that are good, but with a more practical thing. I watched one guy do a whole thing on taking it out of your pocket and opening it quick. I mean, you can do this and just stab somebody with it. You can in an emergency, but it's too risky. It's not a solid... I mean, it is sharp, but for fighting purposes, if someone's attacking you, I'd rather my other knife. Way more. Okay, so it's funny that you mentioned banning knives. They're trying to ban knives in Europe because the stabbings are going out the roof. Yeah, bludgeoning. People don't realize this. Europe, especially England, they have higher violent crime rates. Yes, we have more gun shootings. They have more violent crime. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, they will try to ban knives. There is a group like the NRA for knife rights, and they actually just got in New York, gravity knives are now legal. True. A gravity knife would be a knife that you can just flick open. And in the old law, you could take a knife that's not a gravity knife. If the cop could flick it open, you're in way more trouble. And that's what they would do. So they finally showed how the law was used to make people, and really in a racist manner, like, when they're arresting the minorities in the hood, they would do the trick where you open it up and, it's a gravity blade, dangerous weapon, blah, 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 more charges. So they took it off. Now you can have a gravity blade. Gravity blades are good if you're working. If you're on a ladder, you got to be able to open it. This is a tool for working. It's ridiculous. So silly. They make butterfly knife pens. Wow. Yeah, you can get like 6-7 years for having this, I think, in New York, if you carry it around. They do make switchblades. Yes, they do. Most of them are cheaply made. Fixed blade knives are the best for knife fighting. My favorite knife is my Buck 110. Switchblades are legal in New York State if you're hunting, because you can use one hand. Anywho, I hope you had fun tonight. If you watched the show, please hit that subscribe button. It's the least you can do. As donations go, yeah, people donate. It's cool if you do. I love it. It goes right into the show, and I do this full time. I perform full time. So that's cool. But dude, more importantly, just watch the show and tell your friends. I have a blast doing these. If you're new, as you can see, we have a really great fidget spinner. Yes, that's a new fidget spinner. We have a chatty group of fun, cool, open-minded, smart people. So, come on in, join the chat, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notify, and stay tuned because there's a lot of cool episodes I'm working on. So, and I can't wait to do them for you. In the meantime, have a happy new year. Really focus on the things that move the needle to the progression. That's all. If it's slowing you down, cut it out. If it's wasting time, cut it out. And I really mean that. That's why I do the 2-year filter. I mean, I really I could croak tomorrow. So I'm not wasting time. I really don't want to ever be like, oh my God, I wasted all that time. I don't want to do that. When I waste time, it hurts and I don't like it. And so to me, my New Year's is how not to waste time, how to be productive, and yes, have fun along the way, folks. Party on. That's why I end every show with party on, folks. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. I love you guys. Really, this is really fun for me, and I'll see you here. I'm not on this Wednesday. There is a tiny chance I'll do something on Friday. Don't know yet. But definitely next Monday will be episode 106. Holy crap. Wow. Ruth, you just got on. Well, I'm just going to get off. So you watch the I think you'll like the rerun. This was a good one. Cheers, Ruth. Happy New Year. I think, Ruth, you have I'll plug you right now. Ruth has are you teaching a ritual workshop? Ruth, you should right now put in there the date and your Instagram. Ruth teaches a workshop on ritual. I talk about ritual all the time. My New Year's is a ritual. Not one ritual, many. There's many rituals. I do ring a gong on New Year's. I do that. There's a reason. So if you want to learn about rituals on a meta level, I'm going to stop using the word meta. It's a new word I'm going to use. All right, Ruth, drop it in there. And, yeah, anybody watching, check it out. Oh, January 9th. It's soon. January 31st is the tentative date where I get to interview Chaka, a.k.a. the actor Phil Paley. Yeah, cool. Drop it in there, Ruth. I'm going to come out with the outro, and I'm going to go drink more water. I'm thirsty. Talking makes me thirsty. What else? That's it. I'm going to do the outro. What a show. Party on, everybody.